Hello from Clio Cloud Conference 2016 in Chicago, Illinois. I'm Laurence Colletti.
Joe Patrice.
Rampenthal.
And Bryan Wilson, the Texas Law Hawk!
And we're on the road with Legal Talk Network. And we're back. This is Laurence Colletti. We're still here doing an on the road podcast. I've got my pal Joe Patrice. I've got Chaz Rampenthal, and of course we have Bryan Wilson, not the Beach Boy. It's Bryan Wilson, the Texas Law Hawk, and he's joining us today. We're gonna have a nice little show. Talk to him about his personal branding, and we'll probably get at each other just a little bit. So I'm gonna turn the floor over to Joe. I know he's got some burning questions.
No, my only burning question was just during your speech, you called out above the law, I hear someone from above laws here. It's like I literally gave you a mint before you went on.
I know, I didn't know if you were in the room or not. I couldn't find you.
Okay, yeah.
You didn't mean here at the conference. You meant here in this room.
Oh, here in the room. That's fair.
In the room.
All's forgiven.
He just outlawyered you on that
I was
one.
just wondering where you were.
Fair enough.
outlawyered you
All
on that.
is forgiven.
And did you raise your hand?
I did not. No, I'll tell you exactly why. You know why? Because for the same reason that you needed that mint, I could not make it to your speech because people came up and went, "Let's go get a beer," and then I never got a chance.
That's totally fine.
That happens.
And no, I was
It
just
happens.
kind of wondering about if I made above the law mad or if it's...
No, we love you.
Okay, good.
Honestly, if it's pure laziness on our parts where we...
So I just need to keep reminding you. No worries if it's that.
Well, and you know what's weird about the way above law works, and then now we'll get into the inside sausage. It's there's 5 of us, and we all are covering everything, but there's these weird informal fiefdoms that develop where you're like, oh, that person wrote 3 stories about that, so that's theirs.
Yeah.
So Ellie kind of took over writing about you, but then
I want to meet.
Oh
Ellie
no, he's
so
great.
bad.
But he had a kid and had to do this
He's
other
busy.
stuff, and
And a
so
lot of fucked up shit has
missed
happened to black people lately, and he needs to write about it.
He
true.
kind of does. So
really
between the fact that he doesn't come into the office because he just had another kid and all that, you're slipping through the cracks because we see it and we're like, oh, Ellie will handle it, and then he doesn't, and then here we are.
Yeah,
So
I understand.
we need to.
That makes so much more sense.
We need to do a better job of figuring out what beats get transferred
Absolutely.
in different cases.
Who's going to cover? Who's got coverage? Right.
Yeah,
That's what you're
exactly.
talking about
Yeah.
generally. Right. Who's going to sub in? What's the bullpen like? What's
Yeah.
the situation?
Well, and
Understood.
It's like a bullpen situation
Right.
when if you have a manager who has 50 different ideas. It's
Absolutely. So I want to pull off of something that you said because Bryan, when you first looked over, you're like, "Hey, is above the law mad at me?" You said it with the sort of conviction of someone who's had a lot of people be mad at them lately. And I would love to know, just bless us with probably one of 1,000 lovely hate letters you got from lawyers all around your state that were so pissed that you made that commercial. There had to have been a couple of snippets of just sweetness that just exuded from those more traditional, let's say, or get off my lawn type lawyers that are out there.
They've actually evolved over the years. And so in the conference, I went through my personal 4 videos, the first of which got taken down. The first of which, after that, nasty stuff all across the board, a wide spectrum of
You said the
anything-
word got taken down like you didn't take it down, like the police came in and took it down.
Well, no, I had to call my editor and be like, take it down. He's like, no.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, please, just, we'll do another one. It's going to suck. And I know you got a lot of views on your channel. We have to take it down because it's a public link, as they said. And please take it down. He's like, I'll think about it. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to say to the ad review committee? And it just was scary for a minute. But yeah, they were the comments while that thing was up were just the nastiest stuff you could think of.
Right.
Wide spectrum of
Any death threats? Any actual I'm gonna effing kill you?
I probably have gotten death threats. I can't immediately think of them, but I just think it's so funny.
Yeah.
Every single one of them is so funny to me. I'm not offended by it really, and it just they make me, the meaner and more angry they are, it's just the happier it makes me. I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. How angry this makes you deep within your core.
Yes.
That you just can't handle that this guy is this wild.
Yeah,
or
someone's doing it different.
Guys,
oh my God.
We
I
got
better
to
just
do a little
freak out.
storytelling here because there's some listeners out there that have not heard of Bryan Wilson
Yeah, you
or his
gotta know.
commercial. So we
Oh,
need
yeah.
to do a little bit of backstory here.
Absolutely.
So there is a backstory. So Bryan, like these commercials, like this is for your law firm, your law practice, and there's an origin to this. I mean, there's a little story as to why these things came around. I think we got to tell the audience about this. I mean, we've all seen them, but I think this is worth sharing for sure.
So the commercials originally started because I wanted to market my firm in a way that I hadn't really seen before. I'd seen yelling lawyers in Texas over personal injury. I'd never seen it in criminal defense, and I'd never seen somebody that didn't take themselves that seriously, that just kind of had fun while they were doing it. And so what I wanted to do is do something like that, and I had my best friends who we'd all made films ever since I was about 15 years old. Hey, let's make a lawyer commercial for me now that I happen to be an attorney.
So these are your best friends from childhood.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, even the Officer Butts is my best friend. I mean, and all the people that are around him or featured in him, the person playing Hungry Hungry Hippos. I mean, just about every actor you see in there is some of my best friends in there. And it's so funny seeing the comments and the article titles is like, Pink-Faced Stoner plays Hungry Hungry Hippos. And it's like, Luke, you're a pink-faced stoner now. Did you see that?
Nice.
And he is, sort of. I mean,
We need to describe these commercials a little bit because there's a lot to it. There's a lot going on in there. I mean, you set up these like pretty like out there scenarios where people are getting arrested for doing different things, and there's some involvement of actually some pretty dangerous looking stunts going on.
so in case no one, let's pretend like no one has ever seen any of these. It's basically the wildest screaming lawyer paired with a narrative that teaches a legal lesson, and then kind of a, hey, call me up if you need my services. And that's kind of the video we're doing, and we're putting it out on YouTube and hoping that people will share them. And so they've gotten crazier and crazier, and what I've noticed is that the more dangerous and wild I get in the commercials, the more they get shared. And so that's kind of my platform, is that the more dangerous, the more crazy, the more risky I do, the better. And
Pretty much the origin story of Johnny Knoxville, if I remember right. So.
I love some of my heroes, actually. I met Steve-O, my role model.
Did you actually meet Steve-O?
Yeah,
I met
him
Johnny
the other
once
day.
at a film preview. He's a good guy.
I was
Cool.
kinda
Very
won-
mellow in person, not as all as nuts as you
Really?
think. Yeah, he's mellow in person.
That's awesome.
That is really interesting. No, actually, as part of my research for it, I actually got on your Twitter account. I was like, I wonder who Bryan
Please
follows.
don't search my Twitter account.
Right,
I
it's scary.
I just got it. It's like
It's like
8
what-
posts or something like that. It's sad.
It was like
But-
one of the first two people he followed happened to be Johnny Knoxville. I'm like,
Nice.
there's got to be a
There's
connection
a
there.
thing.
There you
There's
go.
a thing.
Role model.
It's a thing. Love it.
Yeah,
So
no,
they-
I love that we're like explaining what these videos are, which is basically saying to our audience, I don't know, have you ever seen the Super Bowl? It's a thing. Anyway, he was on during the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. And
Yes.
eventually they led to Taco Bell contacting me, even though I thought it was one of my friends fucking with me.
Yeah.
Being like, oh, yeah, there's definitely Taco Bell wanting me to do a Super Bowl commercial. That makes sense. All right, move on.
Yeah.
And then my assistant called him back. It turned out to be real. And we ended up getting not only a local one, but a national one after I sent him a couple
yeah.
of silly videos. And so that's kind of how it
Wonderful.
happened, which it's really good. It's kind of calming because it's an indisputable statement that this kind of viral marketing, I think, works sometimes. And
Of course it does.
so, and it works for lawyers too. And that's what I think everyone was really nervous about when, or they weren't nervous, they were talking shit. Like, this guy's never going to make it. He's a waste of life, ruining the legal profession.
Those are my favorite. Ruining the legal profession. Welcome
ruining
to
the-
welcome
that
to
was
the
the most
clan.
common one.
Welcome to the clan.
I don't know. I don't know if you know Chaz. He works at
I'm
LegalZoom.
general
He
counsel of
only-
LegalZoom, and so pretty much we cornered the market. I thought initially on what most traditional lawyers thought was ruining the legal profession. So much to the point when I was asking you about hate mail. There's a famous story. Eddie Hartman, one of our founders, was at one of
threats.
these meetings. It wasn't even a death threat, but he had gotten introduced, and it was at one of these big events. It was like a tech show or something. There was a bunch of people, and someone like walked by him and spit on him and said bottom feeder.
Oh, my
and he was
goodness.
like, what the hell was that? And it turns out it was like some bar official from a state that I'm not going to name, literally like spat on the
All right,
founder of the company.
let's guess what state it is.
I actually, I completely forgot to mention this. Now that you bring it up, my
crazy.
assistant called me, and she's very Twitter savvy, and she's kind of taking care of my Twitter account because I don't know what I'm doing on there.
Fair enough.
And she's like, yeah, I just got into a Twitter battle. And I'm like, what is, okay, I kind of heard of that. What does that mean? She's like, some guy that's watching your conference right now is being really mean about you. And I'm like, Jessica, we don't be mean back. We don't respond. We just kind of let it go. And she's like, well, I'm just letting you know, I just said a couple things to him. I'm like, oh my God. I don't know who it was, but somebody out there that was watching that conference did not say anything to me, and this is very common. They don't ever say anything to my face. They just are like, I'm going to get on this keyboard, and I'm just going to hammer this guy real quick. Oh,
Yes.
he's so done.
Because there's nothing like 140 characters to really say what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
that can really get the speed. That can get the lava right out.
They can punch, but it's figurative or keyboard style. And I don't know who it is, but I just told her to always be positive and not respond to haters and just be happy about it.
Yeah.
I do want to know who they are because I need to know who to not trust. But like, there's no point to responding to hater or negativity.
This is law. You don't trust anyone, isn't it?
I'm actually I trust pretty much
teasing.
everyone.
Yes, you should.
The rule of social media, which actually my colleague David actually told me years ago, was you punch up, you never punch down. If somebody more important than you punches at you, you punch back. If people who are less important than you punch you, you just ignore them. So like. Yeah. If a
that's
Supreme
interesting.
Court justice mouths off to you, you
like
go
this
like,
guy's a buster, and then
Come on,
you punch back, but you don't.
yeah, but if it's somebody below you, you don't even bother.
That's what someone told me. You never see Maserati
How do you know if you're
going
above or
and doing
below?
that. Well, no, it's pretty obvious.
Oh, no. Well, no, I mean...
that's a good
I
transition.
don't know.
That's a really good transition.
That's a good
I mean,
point. That's a good point.
I
Like,
don't
look,
know.
so you've got a Taco Bell commercial. So you can punch at someone's from Wendy's, but not someone from
McDonald's, exactly. That's right.
So that's where you are.
No,
and
I
you
would
know it.
I would use that as a transition. So, no, Brian, look, you've done a lot, and this is a great jumping off point. I mean, in the few years that you've been practicing, you graduated 2013, right? And you've been able to create this following in 3 short years. You've been able to get a Taco Bell commercial in 3 short years, and this has got to be doing wonders for your practice.
It's doing all right. It's okay.
So and you're getting a lot of blowback, but I mean, look what you've been able to do in a very short period of time, harnessing something that is otherwise, I mean, minus the production, it's free
And
for
man,
distribution.
I love Taco Bell. Oh,
well, there you go.
which is very handy.
I was in one the other day, and the manager, I hadn't seen the menu. It's like changed from like
gigantic.
6 months ago.
There are all
And
kinds of nacho layered gordita,
You're right. And I was
chalupa,
looking at it, and I was like,
chalupa.
what the hell am I
That's
going to
amazing.
do? What the hell am I going to do? And the manager in this Rochester, New York place was just like, oh, you should get the new blah, blah, blah. And I went, oh,
try it, and it's
really?
delicious.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It has like habanero, like nacho down the middle of a
pretty good.
burrito. I was like,
17,946 calories.
I'm sure
actually.
it was, by the way. Yeah, like legally, yeah. But listen, Taco Bell, you know, if you want some
It's
sponsorship,
delicious.
call me.
It's delicious. Crunchwrap Supreme, good to go.
You can't rely on the Law Hawk anymore. He's on his way up. He's about to be to be doing
punching-
steakhouse.
punching
Actually,
up.
if you guys want to know,
He's doing steakhouses
I-
next. I'm there.
I didn't get into this, but part of the reason why I'm hammering down really hard on this Law Hawk on Ice commercial, which is coming up, it's going to be Christmas themed.
Oh. Sweet.
Everything is going to be filmed on an ice rink that
Lovely.
I've secured. And
Please tell me it'll be the first time you've ever skated, please.
I am going to, my sister's used to do figure skating. I'm going to have to learn at least one trick.
I love that.
And
Love
I don't know what
all
I'm going to
about what
learn.
you're doing right now.
I have to usually learn a new skill for each commercial.
Okay.
And I'm going to figure out something. But yeah, everything's going to be on that ice rink. But part of the reason is I want to hammer down, release it in November, and then contact Taco Bell and tell them, hey, that Super Bowl is coming to Houston this year.
Oh, my goodness.
yeah, it is.
Let's do another one. I don't know if they're going to say yes, but I love Taco Bell, and I hope they contact me again whenever they see.
Right on.
The thing is if I sat on my butt and didn't do anything this next like year and a half or year since the Taco Bell commercial,
Yeah.
they wouldn't contact me again because
Of course not.
No.
I wouldn't be a proactive human being that needs to be out there and getting wild. And so what I'm trying to do is get a little bit more attention. And my next goal, if I can get it, is I want to do another Taco Bell commercial.
Well, there you go.
Oh yeah, no, and you should. The so this bring we should probably talk about like actual legal things for a few minutes.
yeah.
Like
Okay, sure.
that's what we should do. No, this
obligatory,
this is perfect. Yeah, the obligatory
legal
bullshit.
questions.
Yeah. No, so that's a good point though. You want to get another Taco Bell commercial. So like branding is really something that small and solos really need to be on top of, right? Like there's. I think somebody said to me while I was at this conference that, like, for all the problems facing small and solos, and there's a million, it's bringing in clients. And we see every dusty old dude in front of a bunch of books going
man.
hi, I
That's
will
law.
fight for you. But, like, break the mold, you know?
Actually, I thought about including a little segment of me being like, just canceling everything. Oh, the haters are mean. Hi, I'm Bryan Wilson. Like in front of the dusty law books and everything. And then I bust in through the side. And yeah.
Ooh,
And
that could be good.
and
be good.
the thing is
It's like
even,
that Apple commercial. When
Let's
they threw
talk
the
about
mallet
even that
before
right
you were
there.
born.
Even some kind of video marketing, even if it's something as simple as that, if you're putting up on YouTube, that's good. That's
Yeah.
better than nothing.
Right.
And people should do, if they want to attract younger clients, I think that's the way to go, is
Right on.
have something out there, some kind of video content that people can share. Be like, even if they say, this guy's a loser, what a nerd commercial, you will still get attention and you will get people coming in. And I don't think that's what they're going to say. As long as you're educating people, especially, you're going to get attention and you're going to get clients from it.
When you do that too, I mean, obviously you're like injecting a lot of humor into
Sure.
your commercials, but you actually do put some legal facts out there for
That's right.
people to observe. And so, what is I guess it's such an interesting time that we live in, where you truly can reach everybody instantly. You just have the
Insta famous, baby.
right, but. In terms of, and we talked about this a little bit before in the pregame, like, obviously you're getting some negative reactions and you're obviously getting some positive reactions too. Like, what has been some of the hardest things to hear when people are looking at these and they're coming back at you?
Oh, like, what are the hard things to hear? Well, when I was first starting out, at least, I'll tell you that it didn't feel good a year or less than a year, a couple months out in practice, to hear that I'm ruining the legal profession. It was really rough because whenever I was in law school, I loved everything I read. I read every single case that was assigned inside and out, and I knew it, and I loved everything. I loved everything I was learning, and I was kind of like, man, am I? I hope I'm not. I really want to do better for
Well,
this
you
profession.
graduated pretty high in your class too, right? I mean, summa cum laude. You graduated
And-
in the top.
And I wanted to do well. I wanted to do it right, and I wanted to be the best that I possibly could be. But yeah, that was really hard to hear, because I was like, am I doing this? Am I hurting people, or am I hurting the profession? I don't want to do that. I want to get people's attention and let them know, and then tell them, watch what I'm about to do. And I'll tell you, there's vast majority of my clients love me when we're done. And
That's the only measure right there.
Yeah. Right.
How many you get in and how many you keep happy.
And they are
That's all.
almost every single one of them. If it's somebody's, I think I can think of one, maybe two clients that I've had that are not happy, and it's directly related to payment issues.
Right.
Other than that, every single other person I can think of, I'd tell you to ask any one of them. And that's what I think it's about. And I just did it a kind of different way, that I wanted to get attention first and then results afterwards, to show you I'm confident in what I'm going to do. And so,
for you.
yeah, I think that's the kind of the hard thing, is hearing that when I'd had a few trials, but I hadn't had that many where I had been successful. I was just sitting second chair and just kind of learning a little bit.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I'm very confident in my results, and I'm confident to bring more people in. And if they don't like me, they're probably not going to call me in the first place.
So look, it is 100% obvious that consumers buy from people when they feel that they can trust them. And brand is a proxy for trust, right? You don't get a great brand without doing something right. You don't keep a great brand without continuing to do something right. I think if the legal profession kind of figured out that you can't build a brand without advertising, you can't build a brand without doing something and telling people about how great you are, that's that part where I'm thinking, where I just don't get there's a disconnect between this idea of what is quote unquote good for the profession, what is bad for the profession. This idea that advertising is bad for the profession because in 1908 some canon of ethics said you shouldn't advertise, and that it had to go, what, in 76, where the Supreme Court had to, and even still today, 40 years later, it is almost impossible. How hard is it?
It's really hard.
How hard is it to actually just do one commercial in one state?
It's
right?
really hard to do a commercial
Ridiculous.
where I'm
Ridiculous.
trying my absolute best to follow every single rule.
Good luck.
And send it into them and educate the public. It's insanely hard to make it right and funny at the same time. It's really, really hard.
And because of that, what do you have?
That does seem like a
What do you
fine
have
line.
when someone, and this is a true thing we've done, like at LegalZoom, we've done surveys of people around brand awareness. LegalZoom has great brand awareness. We're in the high margins, right? When you say name a legal company, LegalZoom is the one that's always named. That's great. You know what we said when we said name a law firm? You know what first off, LegalZoom was named as number one. Shocking, since everything on our website says one thing and one thing over and over again, which is we're not a law firm. You know what the number two was? It was Ally McBeal's law firm. That was named Cajun Fish. That was named the number 2 most recognized law firm, and it's not even real.
Really?
Wow.
It was like Jacoby and
didn't know
Myers. Jacoby and Myers and a couple of the other ones in Cochrane got like 1% and 2% aided awareness. In other words, when I put the name on there, people would pick it out. Law firms like White and Case and Skadden Arps, no one knows who these guys are.
Literally,
and no one cares who they are.
Literally, I was 2 months into law school when somebody first said Skadden Arps to me,
Yeah.
and I said,
What?
Does that clear up with a solution? Do you get rid of
It's a
that with
topical ointment.
is it topical or do you need,
It's penicillin.
Yeah, no, that's what I
I
thought.
think that's a problem. We've got to jump out of this. We've got to jump out of 1908.
Especially
we
when
gotta
you
jump out of
finish it with Mayor
1976,
Flom.
Right? We got to jump into the real world, and the real world is that right now, if you want to get people to buy something, you got to put your name out there, you got to put your brand out there, and you got to show people. You can't show people that you're good for them until you get them to come in and buy something.
And I'll tell you, I saw Better Call Saul for the first time about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's right there. That's illustrating the dichotomy of his brother. If anybody has seen
Charles.
that, it's a story of a kind of a cheesy kind of slapdick asshole lawyer that is out there trying to do little stunts that are kind of contrived for getting attention, and then it's his brother who's a part of a very well established law firm
Albuquerque
that does not like attention being drawn to the firm other than the highest of reputations. And so
I actually used, there was one episode where
insane how
he's
close
yelling at his
that is.
brother for advertising and putting his name on a billboard. And he goes, the only reason you're allowed to do it that way is because 5 justices on the Supreme Court screwed up in a decision that set our profession back decades. And the shocker is people think, oh, lawyers like that don't exist. And they do.
Oh, yeah.
They exist so much that they're in movies and TV shows as something that is popular and ubiquitous practically. This idea that if you advertise, you must therefore be terrible at what you do.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
complete fallacy. It's complete fallacy.
And that's okay. I mean, the thing is
Prove
they
them
can
wrong, baby.
No, the thing is they're going to get their type of clients, and that's okay. And I'm going to get my type of clients, and that's okay. And if it sometimes blends a little bit more, if I take more of theirs, they take mine, that's totally fine. But there's plenty of clients out there, and I just think louder is better.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, and there's
You
something
heard it here.
there's something to be
Louder's
said
better.
for that, which to transition a little bit, like there are different kinds of clients doing different kinds of things, and law schools need to understand that.
Yeah.
Like
It's
the
a
problem is
cookie-cutter approach there.
You got law schools who are like creating public defenders, going, "Well, we should charge what Yale does," and I'm like, "No, you shouldn't. You should do something different, different model."
Yeah.
So you went to A&M undergrad and then Tech.
A&M undergrad and Texas Tech School of Law. Yes.
So now you're in 2 different conferences. And you weren't at the time, really, right? Yeah, but now you're in 2 different conferences. But you're an SEC guy now, I assume.
I got to go ahead and be honest, just because.
Yeah, I know.
It
That's
might
what
be
we're here for.
the 8
Uh-oh.
beers that I've had.
Here we go.
But I don't watch sports really.
Really?
The first time I had an interview with
They're
a
gonna
big
pull your
firm
Texas
that I was
card.
trying to sneak into, they were like, "Well, what do you think about A&M leaving the SEC or going to the SEC?"
going to the SEC,
All right. Well,
And,
this actually is a good transition. So Texas, I assume that's like a stumbling block for people generally, right?
The idea of being in the South?
No, just the idea of not knowing football.
It's a joke.
Well, I mean, I played sports in college,
Right.
But I'd much rather play them than know about all the
course.
sports statistics and yeah, if you're going to do interviews with big firms, you need to have a working knowledge of sports, and that's the only reason I would ever watch them, is to whenever they would ask me something. But there was a new thing that while I was kind of interviewing with firms in Fort Worth, and I remember he goes, well, what do you think about going to the SEC? And what I've come to figure out is that if I just act more excited about whatever they're talking about than they are, then it kind of just gets left in the dust. Like, oh, I can't believe it. You know what? I think it's going to be a good thing, though.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think it's going to be a good thing in the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
A lot of people hate it now, but you never know.
And they're thinking, I like this guy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No,
He was positive about stuff.
That's right.
It's very true, but that like hits on issues about the way the like subtle discrimination that happens in interviews, right? Like if you do not happen to like sports as a man in Texas, you are behind.
As a tall white male, it is the very, very small amount of discrimination I've ever felt, which is a 1/10 of 1% of anybody else.
Yeah,
but unless you go to Hawaii, actually,
go.
white people are discriminated against there, but I still haven't felt that, and so
Right.
it's something you just mildly adapt to, and I didn't get that job offer, as I recall.
obviously, yeah, no, but it's.
I got the internship, just not the job offer.
It's the good, relatable to a lot of people who don't normally deal with discrimination version of that. Like you can see how
it's weird,
subtle, indeed, probably casual conversation where somebody was like, "Oh,
they
you went to A&M."
assume hard. Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
and it was shocking at first, and then just had to adapt. It's a lot of assumptions they're making, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but I cannot tell them in an interview, I don't watch sports,
No, of course
good
you
sir. They would flip out. In fact, even I can kind of like
You're saying
tell
it right
a couple
now.
people
by the way.
around here.
Thank God
like,
no one listens to this.
are looking at me a little weird, like kind of leaning back in their seats, like, what? This guy doesn't watch sports? And it's just kind of like, yeah. I mean, I watch sports if I'm around other people that are watching sports, but I don't care about them that much.
in fairness, he watches the Super Bowl for the commercials.
That's right.
Well, guys, before we wrap it up today, I definitely want to hit one more time on just the lessons that you've learned. You know, we're at Clio Clad Conference, and a lot of it's about engagement with other people and, technology. And Bryan, you've been a pioneer in, branding yourself. And so I realize it's been kind of a wild journey for you. But, if you could share with our listeners just some of the things, like 3 things you've learned going down the path that you've gone down, and maybe give them some advice as well.
The first and biggest is I would say that video marketing is where marketing is going if you want to get to younger clients. So if you want to get to younger clients, you got to start making videos, and it's not going to be fun. And it's your first draft is you're going to look at yourself and be like, oh my God, I look like that, and I sound like that, and I have all that shiny stuff all over my face. Just get over it. Anything is better than nothing. Put it out there. The second thing I'll tell you is education is a place that I don't even understand. I mean, aside from just marketing to younger people, people want to learn about the law so bad, and at least when I was younger, I didn't know that you could, I didn't know what the law was. I didn't know how to get the law, where it was, if I could Google something, if I could talk to somebody other than a lawyer. And if you can teach somebody something, they will be much more likely to share your video. And the last one is when it comes to choosing whether you're going to be calm-natured and very quiet, or you're going to be loud and in your face. I'm going to teach you something right now. You don't have to do that, but just be loud about your personality, whatever it is. Okay?
Right on.
And people are much more likely to feel you and share everything you've got and put it out there. And that's what you're looking for, is attention.
Yep.
Well, it looks like we've reached the end of the road for today's episode, but I definitely want to thank my co-host, Joe Patrice, Chaz Rampenthal, and of course our guest, Bryan Wilson, the Texas Law Hawk.
Bryan Wilson, the Texas Law Hawk!
for joining us today. So if you like what you heard, listeners, I want to thank our listeners too. But if you like what you've heard today, please rate us in iTunes. We'll see you next time for another episode of On the Road with Legal Talk Network.
That's you.
All right. Oh, wait. We got to get a little bit of that. All right.
If you'd like more information about what you've heard today, please visit LegalTalkNetwork.com. Subscribe via iTunes and RSS. Find us on Twitter and Facebook, or download our free Legal Talk Network app in Google Play and iTunes. The views expressed by the participants of this program are their own and do not represent the views of, nor are they endorsed by, Legal Talk Network, its officers, directors, employees, agents, representatives, shareholders, and subsidiaries. None of the content should be considered legal advice. As always, consult a lawyer.